Hello, my name is Johnny Wimbrey. Thank you so much for this incredible opportunity. I know there are tens of thousands of people right now that are watching this live in multiple countries around the world. You are at the 2021 Virtual Business for Home Conference, and that's literally what I want to talk about right now. Perpetual success. He said it in his endorsement to me, creating perpetual success. What does that mean? How do you build an organization that just doesn't create a one-time success, but a residual, perpetual success? And that's the whole purpose of what we are about to dive into right now. If you had to do it all over again, could you? Now, I've been in this industry for 20 years now. I joined the industry of home-based businesses when I was 25 years old back in the year 2000. I'm 45 years old as you're watching this right now. And since that date, not only have I built an organization that has expanded in over 100 countries around the world, a multiple billion-dollar organization, but I've had to start all over, not just once, again and again and again. Not meaning starting over with a new company, just starting over with new leadership, building a new team. Do you have what it takes to build something from scratch if you had to? And listen to me, my good friend, my mentor, Mr. Les Brown, says this. He says, it's better to be prepared and never called than it is to be called and not prepared. So I want to prepare you for that call. If you are an entrepreneur, I want you to understand it's okay if you have to build it again. It's okay if you have to get back in, the driver's seat and just absolutely persevere and push through and build something from scratch again and again and again. And I want you to create that mindset. Listen, this is the network marketing industry. We build organizations, we build people, we build brands, but more importantly, we build character. Do you have the character to build from scratch? Now, this message is designed for those individuals who are at the top and anybody else who wants to get there. And I hope that you're that type of person that you can program yourself and you can subscribe to the mindset that this is for you. When you see multi-million-dollar stories walking across the stage in your company, I want you to visualize if they can do it, then I can do it too. How do I know that? Listen, I don't come from a lifestyle of wealth. My earliest memory of life was living in a battered women's shelter. I was homeless. I was raised around gangs and violence and drugs my entire youth. As a matter of fact, as a teenager, I had a felony arrest. Now, I don't know what country you're in, but in the United States, when you have a felony arrest, that goes on your record. I couldn't get a regular job at American Airlines. UPS told me no. So many companies said, hey, we love you. You have a great personality, but you've been arrested, so you can't represent our company. That happened to me when I was a teenager. And now I'm moving into my adulthood and you're telling me no. How many of you understand right now that your past doesn't have to determine your future? Where you come from, it doesn't have to dictate where you're going. And that's who I want to talk to. That giant that's inside of you right now that can tap into the mindset that, listen, maybe I had a bad year in the year 2020. Maybe I had to start all over in the year 2020. Maybe 2020 absolutely kicked my ass. Welcome to the club. It kicked my ass too. But you know what it did more than that? It woke up something inside me. One of my favorite quotes is, adversity causes some people to break, but it causes others to become record breakers. That is a quote by William Ward. I'm going to say it again. Adversity causes some people to break, but it causes others to become record breakers. Now listen, in your business, you're going to have those moments where you feel like giving up, where you feel like breaking. And I want you to understand, listen, if your company makes a bad decision and you choose to move on to another opportunity in this industry, that's not necessarily you giving up. That's not necessarily you breaking. Breaking is saying this industry is not for me. Entrepreneurialism is not for me. That's breaking. But walking away from something to build something greater, that's not you breaking. That's not you giving up. That's you being empowered from the inside out based on your character, who you are, and what you bring to the table. So with all that being said, one thing that I want to jump right into is, how big is your character? Do you have the character to build something massive, even if you had to do it from scratch. If I can do it with zero business formal education, if I can build a multi-billion-dollar organization that has expanded in over 100 countries around the world and hit the ground and have to do it all over again, it doesn't feel good. But there's something inside me that says, if I can do it again, if I can prove to myself that I still got it, that builds my character. They say that true character is who you are when nobody else is around. What do you do when your leaders aren't watching? What are you watching? What are you entertaining the most when your company leaders aren't around? Well, that's who you are. And I want you to think about that. How much longer do you want to have that problem? How much longer do you want to have the problem of not being the leader that you would want to follow? And I know that hurts, right? And you know what? It's okay. You can't learn how to swim in shallow waters. So I'm going to push you into the deep. Say, well, Johnny is a great motivational speaker. I thought he was going to be motivating. Well, listen, iron sharpens iron. Right now, I want to talk about the character of what it takes to rebuild a $1 million organization again and again and again. Even if it's in the same company, even if it's in the same organization, could you muster up everything inside you with the mindset that you have to start all over from scratch? I've been doing this for 20 years. For 20 years, I go through seasons of what I call 90-day blitz. And my 90-day blitz, that's me starting from scratch. Zero organization, and I'm starting from scratch. Even when I was making multiple six figures a month, I still would go into the mindset of building from scratch, zero individuals, zero customers in my organization. What does it take to do that? And let's jump into the whole purpose of the training right now. The first topic that I want to talk about is value. Your personal value. If you don't understand your personal value, this is coming directly from my new book. If you don't understand your personal value, you will never build a multi-million-dollar business. Not only will you never be able to do it again, you won't be able to do it once. Why? Because you have to know who you are. You have to know what you bring to the table. You have to understand people will see the value in you based on the value that you see in yourself. So right now, I'm holding up a United States 100 US dollar bill. 100 US dollars right here. So if I ask you, and this is something that I taught youth, probably about 20 years ago was the first time I taught this message. And I'm talking to the youth that are the kids of $1 million leaders. And I'm speaking to their kids in a breakout session. And I'm going to talk to you exactly the same way I talk to them. Why? Because character is character. And I'm going to wake up that sleeping giant that's inside you right now that I know that's living. This $100 bill, when I asked the kids, how much is this worth? Every kid in there said, Mr. Johnny, it's worth $100. And I asked them, so you're telling me right now that this piece of paper, the value of this piece of paper is $100. And they said, yes, Mr. Johnny. And I said, okay, it's worth $100. When I fold it in half, now how much is it worth? Mr. Johnny, it's still worth $100. And I asked the kids, listen, so you tell me that when it's full and a 100% open, it's worth $100. And now that I fold it in half and you can only see 50% of it now, you're telling me that it's still worth $100? Mr. Johnny, stop being silly. It's still $100. And I say, okay, kids, what if I fold it again? And now it's a quarter of what you saw when I first started. I folded it twice, and the visibility has shrunk down to 1/4 of the size of what it was. Now how much is it worth? Mr. Johnny, it's still worth $100. So hold on. So you're telling me even if I fold it again, how much is it worth? Mr. Johnny, it's worth $100. Listen to me. I folded it down to the point where you can barely see it. How much is it worth? Mr. Johnny, it's still worth $100. What if I crumble it up? What if I disrespect it? What if I throw it on the ground? Now what is it worth? Mr. Johnny, it's still worth $100. So regardless of what I do to this piece of paper, as long as it stays intact, if I throw it in the bottom of a river and it stays there for 6 months and I go back and I get it and I pull it out and I open this $100 bill up, how much is it worth now that it's been wet, that it's been at the bottom of the dirt, that it's been crumbled up, it's been thrown to the ground, it's been disrespected? Now how much is it worth? Mr. Johnny, it's still worth $100. So if the value of this piece of paper never changed, regardless of what I did to it, as long as it stayed in one piece, the value still remained the same. If you want to be able to build a massive organization, you have to understand your value. Never have more value in a man-made object than you do as you have value in yourself that's a God-made object. Man-made, God-made. Never put your value into a piece of paper more than you put value into yourself. You're going to be folded in this industry. You're going to be folded again. You're going to be diminished in size in some shape, form, or fashion. Someone's going to tell you no, and you feel like you've been folded. Somebody's going to say, it won't work, and those words alone will fold you. They say that you can always judge the size of a person's character by the size of the obstacle that it takes to overcome them. So when somebody says, no, it doesn't work, boom, you just got folded with a no. When someone says, you're stupid for joining this industry, now you've been double folded. When somebody says, you're a part of a scam, I don't want anything else to do with you, I thought you were a good person, now you've been thrown to the ground. And maybe you feel like you're sinking in the bottom of a river in your business. Maybe you are in the midst of being surrounded around mud and rocks and everything, and you just can't see through the murky water. And now you're starting to question your own personal value because the people that you thought who would say yes said no. And I am telling you that the exact same person who said yes to this industry, that giant inside you, the day that you joined this industry, that value is still there. Just like the value is in a $100 bill or any currency, regardless of what you do to it, as long as it stays intact and it stays one piece, just like you are still one piece. You may feel like you've been folded, but I'm telling you, your value is still there. You will never be able to build a multi-million-dollar organization if you don't understand your personal value. And I'm telling you right now, if you don't see the value in who you are and what you bring to the table, I question your success in this industry. And you may say, Johnny, well, how do I get back to understanding my original value? How do I create this character and this confidence from the inside out that when I talk to people about my business, about my product, I am talking with a level of certainty. I'm talking with a level of confidence that comes from character, and your character is 100% attached to how you see your own personal value. If you can fold money up, if you can crumble it up, if you can throw it to the ground, if you can find a $20 bill that's been sitting on the ground for 3 years and you find it, guess what it's worth? $20. Some of you have been on the ground for days, months. Some of you are questioning yourself because of 2020. Listen, 2020 happened to all of us. And they say 2020 was the year of vision. Trust me when I say I can see clearer now. I can see clearer today than I could see on January the 1st of 2020. But I had to focus on my personal value. See, you were born to win, and you got to understand that winner lives within you right now. So the first thing is value. Do you understand your value? Now I want to talk about faith. The faith that you should have in yourself. See, value and faith are totally different. Value is you know who you are, you know what you bring to the table. Faith is, listen, I'm going to get up today and I'm going to walk through doors. I'm going to make these calls. I have faith that something is going to happen. Who is none of my business. When is none of my business. Where is none of my business. How is none of my business. It's only my business to get into action. Do you have that kind of faith? Like the faith that you have in a chair. Now, some of you are sitting in a chair right now. If we were in an auditorium with 20,000 people, all of you would come in and you would just set your little happy butt down in that chair. What if you could have faith in yourself like you have faith in a chair? We talked about value. Now we're talking about faith. What do you mean, Johnny, faith in a chair? When's the last time you walked up to a chair and you picked it up and you shook it and you stood on top of it and you threw it to the ground just to make sure that it was sturdy enough to do its job before you sat in it? You've never done that. I've never done it. We walk in and we sit down in a chair because we have faith in a chair. Again, a man-made object. You are a God-made object. Why would you have more faith in a man-made object when you are a God-made object? I dare you to have the exact same amount of faith that you have in yourself as you do in the chair that you're sitting in right now. That's what it takes to have the character to build and rebuild a multi-million-dollar organization. People ask me all the time, Johnny, how do you do it? What's different about you? You've made millions upon millions of dollars in this industry. You've helped create and develop over $40 million earners in your organization. How did you do that, Johnny? What's the difference? You got to have faith in who you are and what you bring to the table. You have to understand your own personal value. And the third thing is just as important as the first two. You got to be committed. You got to be committed to the commitment. And I'm going to give you an analogy as I close. But this analogy, I promise you, and it's straight from my new book, Building a Millionaire Mindset. But this analogy that I'm about to give you, when I heard this for the first time, it changed my life forever. And I was in my early 20s. I want you to have the same commitment of a vending machine. I was like, okay, Johnny's lost his mind. What is he talking about? Imagine a vending machine. I don't care if it's coffee, chips, candy bars, soda. It doesn't matter what it is. When you walk up to a vending machine, and let's say that you want to get a drink out of the vending machine. And let's say the drink, for simple terms, is $1 US. So it costs $1 US to get this drink out of the machine. But let's just say you walk up to that vending machine and you negotiate. And you say, you know what? I'm not really feeling 100% of this soda. I just want to get 50%. So I'm just going to put 50 cents in instead of one full dollar. Do you think that vending machine is going to say, okay, no problem, we'll give you half of your drink? No, you got to put 100% in. You have to commit to the vending machine. You can't walk up to a vending machine and negotiate for half a bag of peanuts for half the cost. You've got to be fully committed and go 100% in. So here's my question. Do you have the commitment to give 100%? Wayne Gretzky said this. He said 100% of every shot that it was never taken, it never went in. So are you taking shots? Do you have the commitment to wake up and take another shot? Well, Johnny, what is taking another shot? It's calling somebody. It's meeting new people. As a matter of fact, the common denominator of all success common denominator. There's one thing that is similar in every single one of them. One thing and one thing only. In every bit of success that can be traced back to Adam and Eve, companies merging, it doesn't matter. One thing in common, an introduction. Somebody met somebody and a business started. Somebody met somebody and a baby was born. Someone met someone that led to an acquisition or a merger or starting a business. Who are you meeting? If you're not meeting new people, if the common denominator of all success on our planet is an introduction, who did you meet in the last 24 hours? I dare you to be committed to meet two new people every single day. 2 new people every single day starting right now. Not to recruit them, not to sell them anything, just meet 2 new people every single day. Commit to that, and I promise you, the natural progress of building a multi-million-dollar organization will soon kick in. Why? Because you're expanding your touch. You're expanding your reach to individuals around the world because now you're challenging yourself above and beyond just building your business, above and beyond selling your products, above and beyond not missing trainings, meeting 2 new people, not to recruit them, but to just genuinely meet 2 new people every single day. If you can commit to that, I'm talking to somebody who has the character to build a multi-million-dollar business in this industry. So let's recap. The first thing is this. I want you to have an understanding, an appreciation of your personal value. We talked about the dollar bill. You can fold it. You can crumble it up. You can bury it for 20 years. But when somebody else finds it, that value is still going to be there. And just like the value stays in this man-made object, more value is inside that God-made object. Yes, I know people who have told you no. Yes, I understand they said it wouldn't work. Yes, I understand that they're telling you, you should give up. And every single time you hear that, it's taking a little bit of your value away. And listen to me. The only reason that you will allow somebody else's no to dictate your value is because you let it happen inside you. Everything that happens to us was never designed to happen in us. Someone's no should never make it inside you. When you allow somebody else's no to get inside you, it decreases your value. They didn't take it from you, you gave it to them. And just like you can't take the value away from $100 if it stays in one tack, don't allow anybody to take your value from you. And a better way of saying it, don't give anybody your value. And the second thing is, I want you to have faith in you. Have faith in who you are and what you bring to the table. When you sit in a chair, and I want you to visualize this, when you go sit down in a chair, when's the last time you checked to make sure that the legs would work? To make sure the cushion was there? You don't. Neither do I. We just sit down because we naturally understand that that chair is there to protect us. Again, a man-made object. Never have more faith in a man-made object than you do yourself, which is a God-made object. And the third thing is, understand that it takes commitment. You can't negotiate with life. Just like you can't negotiate with the vending machine. You cannot walk up to a vending machine and negotiate a discount. Stop negotiating with life and discounting yourself. You've got to be committed. And if you just simply start to implement new practices on a daily basis, and one of the things that I want you to practice right now, be committed to meeting 2 new people every single day for the rest of your life. I don't care if it's on social media. I don't care if it's in person. Listen, 2020 went wrong. But my mentor, Les Brown, says, when things go wrong, you don't go with them. Many of you went wrong in 2020. And I'm inviting you back. I'm inviting you back because your value is still there. It's still there. The faith that you can have in yourself, you can turn it on right now with the snap of a finger. There's no preparation. You don't have to prepare to have faith in yourself. You just got to do it. And the third thing is, gotta be committed. You gotta be committed to the process of whatever it takes to build a multi-million-dollar organization. You can't negotiate with life. Those days are over. What I want you to do right now is understand. Commit to the process of just simply meeting 2 new people every single day and watch what happens. Jay-Z says it best. He said, men lie, women lie, numbers don't. You meet 2 new people every single day for 360 days of a year, those numbers will work in your favor. It just has to happen. Numbers don't lie. Get the numbers in your corner, build your value, build your faith, and be committed to the process. Thank you so much for having me to be a part of the Business for Home Virtual Conference 2021. I'll see you on stage somewhere. God bless.